Do you remember this article that Variety dropped on September 4th with the headline, "Is the alleged smear campaign against Blake Lively tied to Rebel Wilson's legal battle over the Deb?" Well, I have an update for you because the article itself has been updated. And this is in regards to the Stephanie Jones is a Liar website. This video is going to get no reach, but I refuse to be silenced, and I refuse. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ashley Brianna Eve, and I have over 15 years in branding, marketing, and PR, working with clients from the new entrepreneur all the way up to the celebrity. And now I take you behind the trending pop culture headlines to learn about narrative control and media manipulation. And I have an update for you in regards to this article. Now, we'll do a quick road so far, but make sure to catch up on the videos I've done in this playlist so far. When this article dropped, it was in response to an update in the lawsuit of Amanda Ghost versus Rebel Wilson. And we are going to be deep diving on this case. What happened was Amanda Ghost had submitted a new filing to the court in regards to her lawsuit against Rebel Wilson. Due to discovery with Blake Lively, text messages had come out that essentially implicated, allegedly, Melissa Nathan and Jed Wallace in creating a smear website against Amanda Ghost at the behest of Rebel Wilson. So essentially, Rebel Wilson was in this litigation against Amanda Ghost, and allegedly she had hired Melissa Nathan, there's too many names, Melissa Nathan and Jed Wallace to create a smear website. And that had come out through Blake Lively text messages in discovery. We saw. So basically, Rebel wants one of those sites. Should be a mixture of that document that I think Carolina pulled about Amanda goes, and it says goes, I believe it's meant to be ghost, or the intern pulled. It can be really, really harsh. Russian oligarchs and making her a madame, basically, LOL. Nathan, here it says, Nathan wrote in August 2024 to another publicist at Tag PR, the same firm at the center of Lively's claims that she was the victim of an untraceable smear campaign. The message is included in Thursday's filing. So the messages are included in Amanda Ghost's Thursday filing, which I read on this channel. When I had said this, I had also said, I believe this is going to reopen the question of who created the Stephanie Jones is a Liar website. I said, I don't think the average person has the know-how in SEO to create a website like that. I don't believe the average person would understand how to get all of these different websites going and make it so that they could trend. I said, I believe it's above the knowledge of the average person. And I got a lot of pushback. I got blowback from that, basically saying, Ashley, no, that was already figured out. And this woman named Courtney, who worked for Stephanie Jones, she's the one that did it. They've already discovered that that is closed. Well, it doesn't look like it's actually closed because look what we see here. So it says later that month, the anonymous written sites like amandaghost.com and amandaghostsucks.com popped up and claimed that Ghost was the Indian Ghislaine Maxwell, the madame for one of the world's richest men. Behind the scenes, Wilson, who used paid PR professionals to launch a shockingly low and racially charged attack on another professional woman, all to get her own way in a business dispute and destroy the reputation of a woman who dared to stand up to her, the complaint says in reference to Ghost. Again, we read that. I'll put the link to that video in the notes here. Ghost, who's represented by Shepard Mullen partner Camille Vasquez, we all know her from Johnny Depp, seeks compensatory and punitive damages, alleging that Wilson crossed every possible line in her bid to claim a writing credit on the Australian set musical that premiered last year at the Toronto Film Festival, but remains without a distributor. And it says here, but it's the link to the Lively Baldoni case that will likely raise eyebrows. Lively has claimed that Tag masterminded a smear campaign against her the same month that the mysterious and disparaging websites about Ghost first surfaced. Separately but related, Baldoni's former publicist, Stephanie Jones, is suing Baldoni, Nathan, and publicist Jennifer Abel for trashing her reputation. According to her own legal filings, Jones was disparaged via anonymous websites, including StephanieJonesLeaks.com. And there was another one called Stephanie Jones is a Liar. We have covered those websites here on this channel as well. And made a declaration in June that she was unable to identify the true identity of the individual or individuals who created the defamatory websites. So she won against Meta and Pinterest to figure it out. Who created it? It says here, but that would appear to be at odds with the docket. According to a separate exhibit, web hosting company Hostinger International Ltd. responded to a Jones subpoena 5 months prior to her declaration that shows StephanieJonesLeaks.com was created by Courtney Engel, a former employee of Jones who doesn't appear to have any professional connection to Nathan or Tag. But look at this, guys. This is what I said we should be looking out for. I assumed this was going to happen. Courtney's lawyer, in another plot twist, Engel's lawyer says that her client's name was used as a misdirect. Here's a statement. Miss Engel's identity was stolen and used to create the website. She made clear under penalty of perjury that she did not design, register, contribute any content to, or have any part in the creation of the website. An unknown person fraudulently and criminally used Miss Engel's name as well as other publicly available information along with an email address that does not belong to Miss Engel to register and create the website. Far from having had anything to do with the creation or content of the website, Miss Engel is in fact the victim of a serious crime given the fraudulent use of her identity in this matter. Wow. Now, before we hop over to see what Not Actually Golden had to say about this, because she's the one that I found this out from, that there was an edit to the Variety article or an adjustment to it, I want to make very clear, I am Team Truth. And I've said over and over again, until I'm given evidence otherwise, I support Justin Baldoni. I don't necessarily support Melissa Nathan and Jed Wallace. I have no loyalty to them. I am Team Truth. And if Jed and Melissa had created such a website for Rebel Wilson and had created such a website for someone against Stephanie Jones, that truth we need to find out, in my opinion, because I am Team Truth. If they created it for them, does it mean they did something shady for Justin? Of course not. And we shouldn't be overlooking this edit, this update, out of fear of what Melissa and Jed have done potentially, allegedly, for other people. If Courtney was framed essentially for this, she deserves justice as well. She deserves to be vindicated. She deserves to have her name cleared. Both her and Stephanie ultimately would deserve to know who created those websites. So here I am Team Truth, and my loyalty, until I have another reason to think differently, lies with Justin, not with his team. But let's switch over to see what Not Actually Golden had to say. Now, overall, this video is talking about a bigger issue of really this fatigue of celebrity lawsuits. And I definitely agree that we're all feeling it. Absolutely. And she is the one that really broke this update on the Variety article. So I wanted to show what she had to say.
Admitted this as who they thought set up one of the Stephanie Jones leaks or Stephanie Jones sucks or whatever it is things. And it was this name Courtney Engel. And it was like, oh, this is a former employee of Jones Works. But at the same time, Jones was getting the information on the Facebook page and the Pinterest page from Meta and Pinterest. And she had won in California court to get that information. So this was just kind of hanging out there. As to who might have set up all the stuff, whether it was a group of people, whether it was Tag using separate numbers, whatever. And Courtney Engel was apparently a former employee of Jones Works. But then yesterday, so that article about Rebel Wilson was written a couple days ago, and apparently Courtney Engel or her lawyer saw it where it said Courtney Engel was the one who set this up. And they were like, excuse me, no, she did not set that up. Whatever that report is, somebody used her name and came up with a fake email address. Stop saying it was her. It wasn't her. Somebody stole her identity and set it up. And if you look at, hold on. If you look at the email, it's a Proton email, which I have certainly experienced being used for anonymous harassing emails before. So,
and I will say there's multiple people I know that have had these mystery harassing type emails set up under Proton. So this is not the first time I've heard about it being used in this way.
Anybody who knew that Courtney Engel worked at Jones Works could potentially have set this up. And now her lawyer is saying it wasn't her.
So what to me this says is Stephanie Jones, there is not a clear answer at this point in time in who set up that website. That it's looking as if we are to believe Courtney, that someone else took her information and set it up. And that's something I've been saying is I had believed and still believe that the technology to orchestrate something like that was too sophisticated for the average person. And it was whack-a-mole. One website would go down, the next one would go up. There were Pinterest pages, X pages, Facebook pages. There were all, and you take one down, another would pop up. You take one down, another one would pop up. And I had said all along that I was suspicious of it, knowing in the background SEO and how this stuff works, that the average person could have set it up and stayed on top of this and kept it going. It'll be interesting to see what comes of this with the Stephanie Jones websites. If she starts investigating it again, if she uses these text messages that showed up in the Blake Lively lawsuit to continue digging, maybe she is continuing to dig. I don't know. There's been no updates on the Stephanie Jones and Abel, but just because they did it for other people doesn't mean they did it for Justin. And just because they didn't do it for Justin doesn't mean they wouldn't do it for other people. So stay curious, because I have a feeling Melissa and Nathan and Jed Wallace are just getting started in this whole mess. But at the end of the day, I'm an advocate for truth. At the end of the day, I'm an advocate for exposing media manipulation and narrative control because of my experience in PR, because I am in the industry and have been in the industry. And we'll see where this goes. All right, my friends, with that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. What I found, nobody wants to hear.